Hey guys, welcome back to the Transformation Church Message Recap Podcast. We are back.
We are back.
We missed a week, but by golly, we're here.
We are here.
I'm one of your hosts, Justin Oswald, the executive pastor of Transformation Church, lead pastor Brad Livingston, student director Nate. I almost said Nate
Nathaniel
Coleman.
Popejoy.
I almost said Nate Coleman.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Nate Popejoy is here. We were out last week. Last week was 4th of July. Little Independence Day.
Yep.
You know, a little proud to be an
Great
American.
Little freedom ring.
You know, let freedom ring.
Yeah.
You know, the British are coming.
I feel like it was a good time. Like, you know, being proud to be an American, because I feel like a lot of people aren't that way.
Well, proud
to be an American as much as they used to be.
Oh, no, yeah, that's true. 100%.
So I think it was good. Yeah, it's good to have a 4th of July every year.
You know,
remind us.
Comes around once a year.
Yep.
Independence Day.
Come on.
Yeah, especially if you go and you there's this video on YouTube that like gives the real history of the Star Spangled Banner. Like do you know who wrote it? Francis Scott Key. Anyways.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. I learned that in like music class.
Yeah.
Or
you served
history,
our government, but
and like
whatever.
High school, middle school, yeah.
Yeah, but like the why, you know, when the way or why he wrote the words he did because what was going on. It's just really cool.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So
we're here.
We shot fireworks.
We shot off fireworks
to show that we kicked England's butt.
And now the tea that we get is what's the tea in the can? It's like 99 cents.
What are you saying right now?
Arizona tea?
Arizona teas are 99 cents, but in England they're like $1 and something. So we tax their tea now. Get it?
Oh, that's good.
That's good. My
That's good. That's funny right there.
Oh wow.
God.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, we're here. We're doing it.
America.
We're back.
Take that, King. What's his name?
Oh yeah, it's King someone now.
What's the king's name?
The King of England.
I don't know.
Yeah. Take that, your king.
I got to take a phone call. You guys keep going. It's Rick. So I had to make sure you don't need something.
Hey, Rick, we're recording here. Anyways, we're back. Week before, Sunday before last, Nate got the, test out his preaching abilities.
Yeah, first time
Sunday.
ever. First time ever.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. I'm still here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
was it exciting?
It was. I think the worst part of it was leading up to it. I was just really nervous. And then when I was up there, it's almost like I felt like God just placed me right there. Like that's where I was called to be in that moment. And I wasn't nervous.
What a Christian spiritual answer.
I know it's Christian spiritual, but I mean, I'm dead serious.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. No, I just wasn't nervous when I was up there.
I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, welcome back.
Keep on going.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, maybe I can.
Okay. I'm back.
Yeah, no, but I wasn't nervous when I was up there. I wasn't. I just felt like I was called to be there. And but
good for you, Nate.
Thank you.
Good. It was a good message.
Yeah. Thank you.
What was it about?
Wait, you preached recently?
What did you preach about?
It was about the Great Commission, making disciples, sharing the gospel. Sharing the gospel. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Pastor Brad really helped me form the message, and so it was pretty great. It's a good time.
It's a good time.
Grateful for the opportunity. So
it is fun.
It is.
I mean, obviously there's a weighty spiritual component, but it is a good time, I got to preach yesterday or Sunday. Wait.
Yeah.
Sunday.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Never did 3. That was the first time doing 3.
Yeah.
That's a lot. 3's a lot.
3's a lot.
It was.
Yeah.
3's a lot. I was tired when I got home.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
Yeah.
But I passed out on that couch because we went to Beef O'Brady's after and ate some chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
Whew.
Some wings.
I went home and caught some Z's.
Sawed some logs.
Did y'all see that video I sent you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, the dude snoring.
Yeah.
That video cracks me up every time.
Definitely.
I know, but it definitely takes a lot out of you.
It does. So you obviously we tell every week go
Go watch the sermons.
Go watch or listen on YouTube or the website or podcast or whatever. Nate's is there. I guess mine's up at this point. I assume.
Yeah.
From this past week. Yeah, it was good. What was your favorite service? Do you have one?
I would say my favorite one was probably the second one. There's the most people, so I kind of got like the most laughs, the most engagement. With that,
yeah, I guess I hate we're picking services. What's nice about the 10 from
bunch of losers
from a speaking
8:30. I'm just kidding.
no, from a speaking perspective is you kind of get you do it in the 8:30 and then you have a chance to like evaluate what you've done and like reword something or this or that or whatever.
Yep.
And then by the 11:30 you're almost like you've already done it the way you want to do it. Just like before, when we only did 2 services, I like the first one better.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it was just fresh. The second one was like, I'm just repeating what I said. When you had a laugh, you want to say the same thing and it never lands exactly the same. To me, a joke doesn't.
Oh, really?
To me, they always you get a laugh in the 8:30 service, the second service don't think it's funny or whatever. In the same way, it's like
or vice versa, or whatever.
Yeah, or vice versa or whatever. So, it's just always it's interesting the dynamics in the room, how different they are.
Oh, absolutely.
Every service has its own personality. Yeah,
it's so interesting,
Yeah, absolutely.
And not that they're like, not that the 10 is a better vibe. It is just different. It's a little more rowdy.
Yeah, no, and that definitely feeds into your energy as you're speaking and stuff like that as well.
But I just think it was the sweet spot as the speaker of I got to evaluate what I said the first time, but it still feels fresh because I redid some things.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Different.
The 11:30 service is always interesting. I find it easier to trip over my words on the 11:30 service than I do. Like you would think it would be easier to trip over them on the 8:30 service. Because it's like it's your first time, but I think it's actually easier to trip over your words at the 11:30 service because you've done it twice and your thoughts can almost get ahead of your words. Like you already know what you're about to say.
Yeah.
And you can like unintentionally speed up or.
It was the fastest, the third.
The third, mine was the longest.
Was it?
The third
to me,
service
mine was
the
when I looked up when I was kind of done, I looked at the time, I was maybe 5 minutes faster in my head. So I added some things in, like
which by the way, that what you did at the end of the 11:30 service was
what did I do?
Phenomenal.
I don't know.
Just adding in stuff, talking.
When you added
the vulnerability.
You added in the Enneagram part.
I don't like that part.
That was good.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, and we talked about this when Nate was getting ready to like I talk about this with everybody when I'm coaching them on speaking, but like that was such a powerful moment that I hate you didn't do it in the other service.
Here's why I don't like it. I know what you're saying. Here's why I don't like it. I almost feel like it's too much about me. Like I almost felt like in the moment, like I get there's a power behind vulnerability, especially anybody who knows me knows I don't love that, like, type of thing. But so I totally get that.
Right.
But in the moment, and I could even see people leaning into what I was like, I could see people responding like in a good way. But there was a part of me, and maybe it's the enemy or just whatever, but it's like, I felt like it was too much. I went from talking about Jesus to talking about me now.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like. And I didn't like that.
I got you.
Like I turned this whole message. It might've been good, kind of pointing people to Jesus. But then I was like, but now let's talk about me for a second, even though it was negative about me, maybe, or how much I still need, like I deal with stuff too. Like I was saying something that I think people can relate to.
Yes. Well, and what you say is people relate to your inadequacies or whatever.
Or your weaknesses or whatever. I think that's a Craig Rochelle statement too or something.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it was too me-centered.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just wrong. That's what I
think you're wrong.
That's what I felt like. In the moment, that was my literal thought was like, I'm talking about, like, I've just turned this about me and I didn't like that I didn't like that. But if no one felt that way, then that makes me feel better.
Not at all.
Especially if the crowd did, if the congregation didn't feel that way either. That was what went in my head.
I mean, because that's your story, and God gets glorified from your story, right? And that's
100%. 100%. That's what went in my head. Yeah. Right. I'm glad to hear I'm probably wrong then.
No, you're definitely. And I would take it as like a in the future type of.
Yeah. Well, I told you.
Yeah.
Before that were my thought. The message ended up a little different. Like I could have went a different way, and I was gonna go slightly more in a way of where I went in the 11:30 of the fighting that we put like this character on almost. Yeah. But I didn't want to use the word Enneagram because I even told him that the other day.
People get weird last week
because it's a personality thing, like assessment and all this, but some people think it's weird or whatever. So I didn't want anyone to think, or I just didn't want to use the word, but I almost could not because of what I was saying. So I even said, I guess you were in the lobby, or I guess you were listening or whatever, but I was like, I even said I didn't want to say the word, but here it is. But I don't. So I guess I went more there because I had the time too. I was trying to extend the time a little bit, and I was kind of done. Other than let's pray and extend maybe a prayer, spiritual moment out. But I do think it was kind of a God thing. Like I do feel like I was led to say some of those things. But what went through my head, kind of in the middle, was you're talking a lot about yourself now, big boy. Not.
Gotcha.
That's what I felt.
No, I get it. I would say no, absolutely not. And that doesn't. I mean, matter of fact, like. It was so interesting. Like I was in the lobby third service, like I was moving around, taking care of some things that just need to be taken care of. And then I just kind of ended up in the lobby and just kind of hanging out with the dream team.
Yeah. Some people out there.
And the lobby stopped moving when you got to that part. Like it was like everyone just boom, boom. Like it's noisy in the lobby all the time. It was like when you got to that part, it's like everybody just stopped and we're all watching the TV. And there were people like tearing up,
because and that's why that story, even with Zacchaeus, like which is what I said, is so real. That's the beauty of the Bible, right? Is those, you put yourself in those stories, and you shouldn't put yourself in as the hero, which I don't think Zacchaeus is the hero in that.
No,
he's not. But
well, that was it though. That was what made it so.
Right, but but we totally do those things,
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, man, even someone, and that's why I was like, right now, and I know we joke about it, and I don't mind the jokes and the success, the Enneagram 3 in me. I hate I didn't like. I told Tiffany when Pastor Rick did when we were in the Dream Team rally, and Pastor Rick was like, everybody put your hands together for Pastor Justin's preaching today, and everybody claps. I turned to Tiffany and I said, I don't like that type of attention. And I'm serious.
Yeah.
But there is attention I do like as an Enneagram 3. Like I like to know that people are aware of what I'm succeeding in.
Yeah, sure.
Like, and I don't mean that as that's just
almost like indirect success.
Yeah, it's just the nature of my personality.
Like indirect applause.
Yeah. But in that moment, and I know you like that's what we do because we try to. That's an honor thing. Yeah. So, but I told Tiffany, I don't like everyone like to clap for me in that moment like that.
Yeah.
Which no one does. I mean, if you like that,
you're weird.
You're weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's like like, especially, you know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Especially in the church world, like if you like that type of praise, that's way narcissistic and
self-evaluation.
Exactly. So, it's the same thing when people honor you in their message because you're the lead pastor. Like, you don't love the fact that the whole church is like,
and like when I'm honoring, you're just like, all right, good.
Yeah.
Give me the thumbs up.
You just have to do that. Yeah. But it is a weird thing, but no, it's like, it's so strange because even now the stuff I am a part of and accomplishing and like the things I've been named on and like those things make me feel good.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of those things. Like I do work hard. Like I am out there working my butt off because I do want to accomplish things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, man, when you flip that over into the Christian world, it's like that's where a lot of times the focus is, or it's like you're trying so hard so everyone else sees this version of you.
Yeah,
and it's
for
like,
sure.
you know.
No, so. I think that it was a moment that I just want to encourage you to be okay in that space. If you preach the whole message about yourself, I'd be like, hey man, let's
yeah.
But I think that A, it was the right moment of the service, and B, I think it was the honesty and the transparency and I mean, we joke about it a lot, but a part of you that you really don't let a lot of people see. I mean, I think I can count on one hand, maybe two, how many times me and you, I've known you since we were 11. I've had like truly soul searching conversations, and probably one hand worth of them was at the Enneagram training together. You know, like, so, you know, like 5 of those were probably there, you know, but, well,
cause I really don't like that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, and which is, again, you know, that's like I probably do need therapy, not cause I'm jacked up, but no, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's like I could see how I would make fun of, even mentally, someone who is like super emotional, but there's a part of me that envies the fact that they let their emotions out.
Yeah, sure.
You know, where I want to just like, at the end of the day, let's just move on. Like, so is that like bottling it up? Maybe like you can really get on a whole thing of like, what's, you know, how healthy is that? Probably not that healthy, but at the same time, it's not like I'm dealing with depression and things like that. But,
sure.
You know, I'm probably more emotional than you would think, one. And maybe as I'm getting older too, I notice, like, someone asked me to say that, I think it might have been your wife. We were all in a conversation in the lobby. I think Anna was, there was a group of us, but there was a couple women that were there. And I think one of them was Ashley, and something came up and one of them asked, like, when's the last time you got emotional? And I was like, I don't know. Like, define that. Like, what does that mean? You know, and I was like,
irrelevant.
But I was like, I think I joking but serious, but like, you know, those videos of like when like the soldier comes home and surprises his kids or his wife or something. Like, that's moving to me. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and boo-hoo about it, but it's moving. Like, that is moving. Or what really gets me is, but it is, and I don't know why it gets me, because it's weird, because I had good parents that I knew they were proud of me. But when I see someone proud of their kid, that's moving to me, and I don't know why. But not because like I could see, like, if I never had that, and I'm I envy that. I wish I had it, so that moves me. That's not the case. My dad and my mom were always, you know, when they were proud growing up, the whole thing. But like when someone does something, and maybe it's not their kid, but when someone has worked at something and then other people are proud of them for it, like, I like that. You know, almost like, even if you watch a stupid show like The Voice, the family off stage that gets excited because you killed it and got like that. That's a nice moment to me, because it's like, you know. But yeah, I'm probably more than people give me credit for. But, you know, and I'm also like, people only see me, you know, around. Someone was complimenting me, which I appreciate, but and I told him, I said, I probably should do better on Sundays. They were like, they don't know me well, you know. I think I'm pretty funny around just normally. Like, I like
it was the girls at the greeters at the door. They talked to me too. They're like, he's hilarious.
She was like,
you need to watch the podcast.
But I think I'm a pretty funny person in general. Like, I would say, if you ask me, do you think you're funny, I'm saying yes.
I would agree.
But some of the people in our church never see me that way. She was like, we only see you kind of one way. And I was like, I got to do better at that. And I told them, thank you for the compliment. You know, I appreciate that. And I was like, you know, it's so funny, because when I'm here on Sunday, like, you kind of get in this work mode. And I was like, but I need to do better at that and they were like, it was just a side we never seen. And I was like, but I mean, you guys see that, like, you see the funny side, because we joke around and stuff. But yeah, I do like being funny. I think that was one of the funnier messages I've preached.
Yeah, I think your segue was, you know, it was built on humor, which is always great.
And I didn't plan.
That's my jam.
I told someone I didn't plan. I knew the like unwritten rules would have. I knew I was going to make that funny, but I had no idea what I was going to say up to make it funny until I was up there.
Oh, really?
I didn't plan the humor part because I almost like I can't. I don't know how. I knew they would be funny, just by the nature of what some of them were.
Gotcha.
But general direction and tone of what you want to say.
Yeah. Like I knew that I was going to get a laugh in some way, but I did not until I was doing it. And I think the 10 o'clock I was the funniest, just because I'd already did it once, and I kind of worked. Take the spiritual side like a comic would. I worked the joke out already. Yeah. So now I was like, oh, if I tweak this word, it'll be funnier. Yeah. And of course I did want to get a laugh. Like I think that helps bring walls down and stuff. People that were there. But I don't plan the humor like you might think I would. I don't. Just I had a feeling where the funny parts would be, but until I was there, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. So let's just ride with it, you know.
That's good.
And then you use tone and inflection, and all that stuff adds to it, you know.
Yeah. No, I literally, I haven't told you this yet, but I literally in the 11:30 service was standing in the lobby with everyone else, and we were watching the TV, and I was a little taken back. Honestly, I was like,
isn't that funny?
I was like, and the first thought that went through my mind, honestly, it was like, I'm so proud of him. Yeah. Like for real. That was like the first thing that went through my head.
I was glad my family wasn't in that one for some reason.
I thought you were about to cry. I thought you were about to cry on stage. I'm like,
I wasn't ready to cry.
I thought he was.
I thought he was.
I mean, it was a little more emotional, but I wasn't like about to like cry. But like,
tears coming down your cheeks. I thought I was about to see some tears.
Wow.
No, it felt. Yeah, I was like, I literally thought I was like, man, I'm so proud. Like, I'm so proud of him. That's like,
when I did, like I said, I did not plan that at all. That was no way. When I was planning out the message, I was thinking of going that way. Then I was like, I didn't love it. So I went a different way. But the first two services, I didn't feel led at all. But
there's a Holy Spirit,
and maybe I'll blame the time. Even the time, I was like, I need to feel this, but I did feel led to kind of go that way. I closed it. I don't know if you saw that. I closed my bike. Like I was done. Yeah. I clicked the button on the iPad. I had no more notes.
Yeah,
this is it. I was done, but I was like, I didn't feel done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, but I was like. Yeah. I kind of. It
was just a God moment, man.
Well, I'm glad it went good. You know.
Yeah. No, it was really, really good. But I think so many people can resonate with that too, though. And I think we've talked about it before. Like when people are always emotional, it doesn't. When people are always emotional and then they get emotional, it's like, all right. But when people who don't usually let people see a certain side of them are willing to,
if anything, it gives people who've only seen me one way,
right,
a little bit of, I get it now, like the whole, what drives my personality though, like like the idea of. And that's the interesting thing about the Enneagram or with personalities in general. You don't go around thinking about it. Like I don't consciously have these thoughts,
right,
but subconsciously, no one cares about me unless I can do good things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you start breaking that down, then people like, whoa. So it's like, well, the reason he is driven is he just wants people to like him, or beyond that, he just wants to be loved.
Yeah.
Which we all do. So it's like, if anything, it's like, for some people with me personally, is like, maybe even as one of their leaders or pastors, is like, I didn't realize maybe that's what he may deal with.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think people connect dots. They either consciously or subconsciously connect dots to how we are a lot more alike than we think we are.
100%.
So the mom that's out there who is a stay-at-home mom, right? Who on the surface and perhaps in 20 different conversations with you could think you guys have nothing in common.
Right.
Can hear you say something like that and go, well, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like if I don't produce as a mom, I'm a fail. Like, wow, we're a lot more alike. And so whether they consciously or subconsciously connect those dots, they start. And I think that's what again, like me being proud of you, and I think just encouraging you anytime you have a chance to communicate with people, whether it's at PYP or whatever. Not that you want to become a sob fest or anything. You just you just want to you want to be able to communicate, and I think resonating with people that way is just it's something I think you should allow yourself to do more often, and don't think of it as like you trying to take the spotlight from something.
Yeah.
Because it just lets people resonate with you. Like I said, everybody in that room heard what you were saying about Zacchaeus. Everyone at the 11:30 service heard it and then saw how it connected to your own personal life in a way that it didn't make the other two services bad. It just that did something, and it let everyone see,
which then probably helped them connect it to their personal life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was great. So I think both of you guys did a jam up job.
No, I told Nate after when you did, as it was really good. I mean, I don't think anybody, had you not said it, I don't think people would have thought that was your first time.
Yeah. That's it. That's what a couple of people told me. I'm like, well, I'm glad. That's all I got.
No, I leaned over to Rick on the front row, and I was like, dude, his first sermon is way better than my first sermon.
I don't think if you wouldn't have said anything, no one would have known it wasn't your first time. So that's good.
Yeah,
that was really good.
That's good.
Yeah,
which I think is great. That I know someone recently has said this. I think they might have said it to you as they were leaving, someone in our church, but it's definitely, now that we've done it, it's true. They're talking about our bench is deep. At the end of the day, all of us, not only can all of our lead team get up there and preach if we need to, but even beyond the lead team.
Yeah.
Rick's coming up. Rick's a good preacher.
Yeah.
He's preached once, right? At our church.
Once, yeah.
Rick's a good preacher. He's been a preacher a long time. He was so creative when he was a youth pastor.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you take, and we're all slightly different, and I believe there's probably more people, I believe if you let John get up there, he might do better than
Johnny boy.
He did good at the transition.
Yeah. We have we're getting ready. We're working on a communicators, kind of boot camp thing. Yeah, we got about 5 people in the church right now that we've got our eyes on to help to start moving them along that, because they just have that gift, it's like, so, and that's part of the, not that this is the reason why you did a great job, but I'm just saying the things that we do as a church help cultivate an environment for people to discover their purpose and function in it. And I know we use that language a lot, but we really do. An environment like Pipeline is super helpful for you to learn how to start putting thoughts together. And we study homiletics in Pipeline, in those environments, and you get a 5-minute opportunity, or you get a couple of those, and you get, so you're learning how to shape your words and your thoughts. And part of it is just natural charisma. Part of it is an anointing, because that's what God chose you to do. And then a part of it is, I believe, and I'm not taking credit for this as a person. I feel like we as a church are taking credit for this as a culture of cultivating an environment where people can learn, be developed.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's not good. I didn't have, my first Sunday preaching, I didn't preach to anybody ever before that moment. I was up there and it was not good.
What I love about it, obviously preaching, there's the spiritual side. And use the word anointing and all that in the moment. Yeah. But I've always found the craft of public speaking interesting.
Absolutely.
And I don't, when I say I study it, I don't mean like book studying, but I've always watched public speakers. I love stand-up comedians, and you can learn a lot from stand-up comedians.
100%.
On how to tie things together,
and
or
I have
whatever, you can learn a lot. Well, that's why I love the Nate Bargatze podcast, because it's 4 comics on there, but they talk about how, and we just talked about this recently, I think, on here, right? Where they, when you're putting jokes together before they go on tour, and they go to smaller clubs to work out the material, to figure out how it lands and reword it and this and that and all this. We saw Simon Sinek, who's not a comedian, but does keynotes for a living because he's a leadership an author, and he just like stood there and gave his presentation, but it was so good. That was his style. He just didn't move, just stood there. But 45 minutes of just
45-minute TED Talk is what it was.
Yeah, it was like, so good. You know,
absolutely.
So these guys these people have their styles that are all different, but you can learn so much. I love, if you never watched TED Talks, I think can be fantastic.
Great.
But yeah, it's just, so to me, the great communicators, even in the church world, the great preachers, I'm convinced they all work on the public speaking part.
100%. Hands down.
Let alone the anointing of putting together good sermons and delivering a good sermon. The public speaking part, I bet they watch themselves, you know, they go back and watch it. You know, do I say a lot? Do I do something weird with my hand? Whatever. Yeah. You know, and they cultivate the speaking aspect, that crafted that. Because I believe it's a learned talent. I think some people are more naturally
100%
gifted to it on the start, but I think anyone can learn to do that. Even if you have stage fright, you can get super nervous. Yeah. You know, I think you can, there's techniques to overcome that and go out there and still give a good talk, you know. So I don't think it's just extroverted people who aren't nervous in front of a crowd are the only ones who are good speakers. No, I think it's probably that's probably not the case at all.
Yeah. No.
You know,
it's work. The roadmap matters a lot when you're communicating, how you lay out your destinations on the map. As far as I'm going to start, and then we're going to go here, and we're going to go here, we're going to go here, we're going to go here, and then my inflection and my knowing, like, you know, and you know, just all those things matter. Yeah. You know, they matter so much. So, and it helps make it fluid. I think we talked about that some. We were shaping yours a little bit too. It's just like,
well, you got to land the plane at some point too, and it's like Carey Nieuwhof. I'll share it with you guys. I put it in our Google Drive. There's this resource that I got from Carey Nieuwhof recently. The preaching masterclass thing or something.
Oh yeah, I think I did that.
Get it?
Yeah, he got
it. I put it in the drive.
I did that masterclass.
Oh, I got one of the resources recently.
Yeah,
not
like
the
his
whole
free
class.
resources. Yeah, I did the whole thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But some of that was helpful, like leading into it. But he was talking about knowing, you know, when to land the plane and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So it was just very good, very helpful. So
yeah, absolutely. That's like that was one of the things we talked about with yours. Is you were laying in the plane, and then like towards the end there was something you were going to add, and it was kind of complicated. Yeah. And I was like, man, you're gonna not, to use the same language, like you're gonna try to get that plane off the runway again, and that's gonna feel like
too much at the end. So I
was like, once you're here, once you're there, like set that baby down smooth.
I would have made it go way over anyway. So
what's
that part too.
What's crazy is the time.
That's hard.
Oh yeah,
trust me. I go over all the time.
30 minutes and I think 20 seconds. So
I was right on time. The first two, I was
never.
That's what Chris told me. He's like, yo, we had 20. You landed perfectly, and we had 20 minutes. We didn't know what to do after the service because we had so much time.
I did the same thing. I was not in the red even after the moment of reflection talk and all that.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh, wow. At least in the first, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think I went in the red then. No, I was. What's interesting is like where I had the keys come in. It felt so early.
It was.
But
you use it.
Yeah, but it just, you know, as you're going through your notes, and I'm like, you know, and everyone does notes. I had 5 pages of notes.
Oh, you know, I think mine was 3.
The way I do my notes is just, it's a little more manuscripty, like Pastor Dan.
That's how I do.
But it helps me, you know, it just helps me. And I had a bigger font and everything too. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting through. Like I didn't look at the clock as much. I noticed after I was trying to critique myself. I never did. I looked at the camera, and I wish I would have, knowing that there is an online audience, and you know, one day
that
maybe
actually takes a lot of work.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't look.
I don't even think I looked at the camera.
I didn't acknowledge the camera at all.
A lot of work.
And I didn't use the monitors with the slides. I didn't use that at all. Like I wish I was like, if I did it more often, I would try to do like you do, where you're trying to use that to come off your notes more.
Yeah.
But the time was so odd. Like at one point I felt like I'm zooming through this, but then before you know it, you're at the end wrapping up and you're like, oh, I'm as right on time. Actually, it's so hard to gauge that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because if you take even 5 pages of notes and I was sitting in my office, You know, I got here early.
6 minutes
to just read through the notes. It's like, oh, this 10-minute sermon. You know, but it's not
preaching it. It's only, but then when you preach it and you think about it, it's like that's only 6 minutes a page. When you think about it like that, and it's like, dude, one analogy could eat up 4 minutes if you're not careful.
Right,
so it's so easy to get away from.
Yeah. So that's the hard part.
Yeah.
I was very proud of how I did on time.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to go over. You know, I like to be respectful of that. But I think it was good.
Yeah. Me and Nate were cutting up backstage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was good. Go check them out. I feel like now people are going to be like, well, I want to hear the 11:30 version of whatever. Which one did we post, John? The 10?
We posted the 10, yeah.
On mine too.
We historically post 10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's the best.
It just seems to be the best.
It is the better one.
The most well-spoken for.
I talked to multiple people though, and they said my first service was their favorite. I don't know why, but they said my first service was.
I
think yours was.
Your 8:30 was your better one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was kind of what we talked about where it's like, the 10 o'clock, I felt like you were looser.
Yeah.
But you didn't have the same energy.
Gotcha.
And I think because 8:30 you were coming out like like nervous energy.
Gotcha.
Like you know, and by the time you hit the 10 o'clock, if you're not careful, that 10 o'clock and then that 11:30, if you're not careful, you could look like an Eeyore up there.
Yeah.
Like, God, I'm doing this again. Like, you know, and that's not what you're thinking. That's just the toll it's taking on you emotionally and spiritually and your body. And you're just like,
and those lights are hot. I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah. That's why I say, like, for me, it's like when people are like, it's freezing in here. I'm like,
bro, it's
come stand up there for 5 minutes.
So hot.
I touched your back. You were radiating heat when you walked.
I was so hot. I was in a long sleeve shirt too, but
that's why when I preach in the jackets, bro, I'm like, it's miserable.
It's hot. Yeah.
You know? Yeah, if we ever redesign, I want to figure out how to make the stage colder than the rest of the room. I need to figure that out.
My biggest thing, and I don't know what causes it, is when I'm public speaking of any kind, I get like very dry mouth.
Oh, right. Yeah, you had your water bottle. Like,
it's the only time it happens. Really? I can get up there and talk for an hour if I was just talking to people sitting out there and I'll stay on the stage. But the minute I'm like doing something official, it's like dry mouth, and I don't know what causes it.
I mean, because the podcast, not
at all.
Yeah.
But there's something. I did the same thing like when I did my annual dinner like PYP. Like it's always been that way. Like, I don't know what it is. That's why I always take like the you don't even take water up, and I'm like, how in the world?
I didn't have water. Yeah.
So this time was better. Yeah. This time was better. I don't even think. Well, one of the stories, I don't even think I hit the water. But to not have it would be crazy for me. Yeah. But I don't know if I need to do something else like some kind of a tea before. I don't know, like a throat coat. I don't know.
I'm too. I almost died at transition. I don't know if y'all heard that or not. When I had like a hiccup cough thing at the same time, and I was like, right when I was walking out, so I was like getting ready to talk, and I was like, oh my God. Ashley texted me, she was like, are you good? I was like, yeah, I'm okay. But I was like,
that's funny.
I recovered quickly, but I was like, I think at the 8:30 service, not that you can go back and look, but I think there was like a delay in like my cognitive ability because it was like caught me off guard, and I was like, welcome to whatever we're doing. I just felt like I almost fell face first.
That's funny.
It was 2 good Sundays back to back. So
yeah, it was good. Yeah, I'll try not to mess up the streak.
You gotta.
And I'm gonna be out this week, little vacation.
I'll be preaching Sunday. I wasn't supposed to be, but now I am.
Yeah. I'm going to South Florida. I'm gonna eat some good food.
I'm so jealous. I love Miami.
Miami.
I'm gonna eat some good food.
Welcome to Miami. Yeah.
I'm gonna visit my homie at VU Church, Nick.
There you go. Shout out VU.
I need to we need to put together a golf trip soon. That's what we need to do.
Oh, wow.
No, we definitely need a golf trip.
Oh my
To where?
I showed that one Texas resort.
Texas. That South Carolina one I see.
That South Carolina? Oh, yeah.
Ball.
I'm going to South Carolina next month.
Oh, yeah?
Charleston.
Let's go. Let's do it.
I'm going on a executive pastor retreat.
Oh, yeah. That's next month.
At Seacoast?
Yeah.
Well, at Church Creek.
Yeah. But
with
Greg Surratt.
Greg Surratt from Seacoast, yeah.
They doing a youth pastor one?
No. Your whole life's a retreat.
Yeah.
No. No, someone sponsored me to go.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
That's cool.
He's a big wig. He's a big deal now.
No.
It's a big deal now.
No, I didn't know, but I mean, literally, someone sponsored me to go, and
heck yeah, that's awesome.
this is the second time that this guy's put on a retreat for executive pastors. So he emailed me and asked, so they covering everything. I just got to get there, but no, so I'm looking forward to that. So I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think it's only like 15 guys or something, or 18 or 12 or something. Yeah. But Pastor Dan's been there to that retreat. They're gonna go center.
They're gonna go hunting and fishing. You want to do that?
That's all available. Yeah.
I don't know if they go hunting, but they do go fishing.
Yeah.
Golfing. There you go.
I don't know.
So I'm looking forward to it.
That's
I don't know what to expect, but I know there's a lot of like
network.
Everybody sitting at a table together.
Yeah.
You know, with I think Greg Surratt leads that. So
that's cool.
You know, so I'm looking forward to that. I kind of feel like it's going to be like a group therapy trip in a sense.
Inevitably, it does kind of go that way.
Yeah. Which is fun.
God was preparing you this past Sunday.
Yeah.
The walls have been shattered.
I'm looking forward to going. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going. So that's sometime awesome. Next month, and then we're going to Austin September, and then I'm going to Chicago in November.
Keep forgetting about that.
So I was like, I need a trip for October. I need to do something in October.
It's traveling, man.
I love it.
Listen,
I do it so cheaply.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I gotta catch everybody up on Peru, but anyways, yeah, go ahead.
I do it so cheaply.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to feel like I'm talking about traveling like people think I spend all this money or something, or like I make all this money or something. It's like, like I do it. So,
let me tell you, that's not true.
Yeah, so. I do it so cheaply. Yeah, I enjoy it.
We cash in points. You know, we've all a lot of us got in on the Amex World, so we cash in points.
I want to go to New York. I have not been to New York City, and I would like to go for a couple days.
I got you.
I would like to go for a couple days. We should get a trip together for December.
New York
for December. Oh, dude, you're talking Ashley's love language right now.
We should go
December in New York. Do you know how cold that's going to be?
Yeah, that's why I want to go. We should go between.
Why don't you cry about it?
Yeah,
you're not even going.
I'm from up there, so like y'all have no idea. That's why
I'd go in October too because I have.
I know.
I'm just saying I want to go. Like we're gonna be off the week after Christmas.
Yeah,
between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah,
that would be dope.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to PA.
But don't threaten me with a good time. Are we doing this? Do we just schedule this on the podcast?
Do a group trip.
We're going to New York the week after Christmas.
If it gets over 20,000 likes, we're going to New York City.
I don't care how many y'all like it.
I'm going either way.
The sweet spot for me with traveling is like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
It's like, because you don't have to spend as much on a hotel. You can get there, you can kind of see a good bit. So like, I'm talking 2 or 3 days.
What would you like about New York City? Like,
I haven't been. I want to know,
like, what makes you want to go there?
I might have a retreat
What's enticing? Retreat center.
I might have a retreat center that we could stay at.
What's enticing?
Yeah, what's enticing about New York City?
It's like it's the center of the universe. It's the Big Apple.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. How is that possible? That is the epicenter of your world.
Yeah, you're like a big,
not like it.
Like big city.
It's not clean like Miami or like LA type stuff. It's not.
What big city is clean?
There are some,
dude. I'm telling you,
urban. Yeah, it's the urban.
I want to go because I've never been. Number one, and
I mean, it's a lot of shopping too. There's a lot of stores, and
I want to eat some good food, and I believe you can do that there.
They got good food. They got good food.
Check out some of them pizza joints.
Yeah. Some of the places. Yeah, I want to go to John's on Bleecker Street, the pizza place. That's got the top rating on from Dave Portnoy.
I want to meet that watch guy on TikTok.
The watch guy? Which one?
The guy, the younger guy
that always zooming back and forth.
Yeah, for everyone listening to the podcast, that's John. He's been conspicuously absent for the last 49 minutes.
The quick flips guy.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things we did in New York City, we went to a jazz club at like 11 o'clock at night, and it was the dopest thing I think I've ever experienced. Like this like Grammy
literal dope or like
yes,
it was probably green in there.
No, like this like Grammy award winning piano player from Brazil was playing that night.
Oh wow.
And it was like a 5 dish menu list, like and it was like dark. It was just it was so dope. That is the coolest thing I did there. Like, outside of that,
like that city never sleeps. Like there's
literally. It was so dope.
I mean, Times Square. If you're saying you can be staying at in the middle of Times Square at 1 o'clock in the morning and it's bright as daylight because of all the signage and stuff.
And like I want to go to like a comedy club, which is no names up there doing like I don't know, just stuff like that.
But if we do that right after Christmas, it's gonna be really crowded for the New Year's.
I'm sure. Oh yeah,
that's New Year's.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You got to get in. You got to get in at the right time.
I would. I also thought about.
Look into it. We'll look into it.
I also thought about Boston.
Never been. I would love to go to Boston.
I've never been to Boston. Boston's got a lot of history. There's a little the historical area, like the Paul Revere, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I thought about Boston.
Yeah, Boston's okay.
New England area.
Boston's like
that'd be colder
New York without the cool stuff.
Yeah. Chicago. Yeah. I'm going in Chicago's nice to me.
Yeah.
Chicago's cool.
Yeah.
Like
dude, I could go for some Chicago deep dish pizza though.
I don't like deep dish pizza.
I can do that.
I don't like
Shut
it.
up.
I can do that.
Where did you get it from? The wrong place.
It's good. It's just so heavy. I could do without it.
Yeah.
I could do something else.
I like New York. New York style pizza is my favorite.
First of all,
it's different.
I don't think we should like. There's no pizza that I don't like.
There's not really
toppings I don't like. There's no
this.
pizza I don't like.
Yeah,
pizza.
Chicago. So I even thought about. Here's what I thought about too, because I got family out there, so I can go and probably stay with them. But I was thinking about going to San Francisco.
San Fran.
San Fran's dope. We rode those little scooters like 3.5 miles through San Francisco. When I was over there, we saw the Full House.
Tulsa.
Yeah. We saw the Full House. Like did all that down by the bay, the wharf.
I have family.
Saw Alcatraz. All that stuff.
We could stay for free.
You're staying with your family.
Yeah.
So all of us are going to go stay with you.
Yeah. No, they're rich. They got a lot of money.
Oh, really?
Big houses.
Oh,
that should. Yeah.
So I thought about San Fran.
San Fran's dope.
No, I've never been out west like that.
San Fran.
The problem is here's my thinking though, because I like to travel cheap. The farther you go, the more expensive flights get.
Oh, tell me about it.
Or cost more points. So I like to find stuff that you can have like a direct, like a Southwest. Like I'd go back to Nashville if we go with a group. I'd go back to Nashville.
I haven't been to Nashville. I've driven through. I would love to go to Nashville. That'd be sick.
Love Nashville.
Listen,
it's been a while since I've been there.
There's some good food. That food hall,
good food, good music.
But the music, I mean,
can't beat it.
If we could get a group, I'd go back to Nashville. Especially if we can find a big Airbnb. Even though I don't usually like Airbnbs, but bad experience.
Speaking of Nashville, Peru. You said you were going to update us on Peru.
That's got nothing to do with Nashville.
Peru. Yeah, they're so similar. I can see how you.
That's a good segue.
No, I didn't go to Peru. Supposed to be in Peru. Supposed to be coming back today. Yeah.
I
would have been coming back today. Me and John
too.
Yeah, me and John both.
Today's the day. They come back.
Today would be the day.
Yeah, today would be the day come back. We did not go. So last Sunday, the Sunday you were preaching,
yes.
I started, which we were supposed to leave.
Feeling so hot.
I was not feeling good. Between the 10 o'clock and 11:30 service, I started feeling really bad.
You looked it too.
Yeah, and I was like, I was not doing well. And
playing drums.
And I was playing drums. I played drums for the 11:30 service, closed it out, grabbed my stuff, went straight home. We were supposed to be packing up. We had already packed our luggage. I was packing up my backpack. We were going to head out. And so what people don't know is the last 3 weeks leading up to our Peru trip, in hindsight, like looking back on it, I truly feel like it was like the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I did not want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go. Something in me was like, I think what I was feeling was you're not supposed to go on this trip.
Mm.
I was reading it as I just don't want to go.
Gotcha.
Wow. Like that would have been 4 countries in 5 months, I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. And I was like, I'm internationally traveled out. I don't want to be in airports anymore. I don't want to do any of those things. So part of me was like, I just don't want to. I didn't stop and ever consider that it was like a God thing. But on Sunday, I was feeling terrible, came home, still feeling terrible, sat down and took like a 20-minute nap, trying to like see if that would help. Woke up feeling worse. And so I'm packing my backpack. The luggage is in the car. My mom is there. She's picking up me and Ashley, taking us to the airport. I'm packing my backpack. I'm zipping it up, and I'm not like boo-hooing, but there are like tears like in my eyes.
Really?
And she looked at me, which is not normal for me. Like that's not, I don't just walk around with tears in my eyes. So she looked at me and she was like, I don't know if you're supposed to go on this trip. And I was like, it's part of me was like, I made a commitment.
Yeah.
I made a commitment to,
I get that,
to my team. I made a commitment to my church. I made a commitment to Linda and Reimagine Peru.
Yep.
And we need to follow through on this commitment. Like my dad raised me, like you make a commitment and whatever.
Yeah.
And you follow through with it. And so I was just like, all right, so I was just going to like push through. And I kid you not, man, like when my wife looked at me, she was like, when Ashley, she said, I don't know if you're supposed to go on this trip. And I felt God, like I felt the Holy Spirit was like, I've been trying to tell you for 3 weeks, you're not supposed to go on this trip.
Wow. And
I was just like, I'm not going. And then there was a lot of other things happening that doesn't really matter for this conversation. Just like some emotional stuff I was dealing with, that doesn't matter. But so I was like, okay, I'm not going. So Ashley was going to go, but then Ashley started like, I don't know if I'm supposed to go. And then it kind of turned like, I don't know if I want to go because you're not going. And John was kind of in that same vein where it's like, man, if the whole reason I'm going was to be with PB and Ash and film and catch all this content. So now I'm going, but the people I'm filming aren't going to be there. So why am I going? And he was like, so my people aren't going. I don't know if I'm going, like, him and Ash were at the airport together. And John, you can chime in if you want, but you're just kind of like, they were like,
yeah, I mean, I got there 2 hours early. And I was just chill. I mean, I got through TSA and check-in in like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I was just like chilling. And then I got the text from Ash that you weren't going. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I can still make this work if Ashley's going. Cause she texted me, she was on her way. And I was like, all right, well, I'll just have her do some talking parts and do a few things, whatever. I'm sure she'll be cool with it. And then she gets there and, she
was not in a good place.
She was
rough.
She was having almost like a slight panic attack about everything that was going on. And I was like, whoa, like, first of all, you don't have to do that. Like,
right.
Like this is not something like you don't, and I think the downside is like, there was a couple of people from our church that were really supportive about it. And I won't like go into detail or anything, but I will say that she was getting some looks and some conversations that were making her feel bad for not going.
Yeah.
And I'm pulling her away from that group. And I'm just like, hey, look, like you make this decision on your own. You think through this by yourself. Like, so,
I would say there was a lot of people there that thought she was just nervous.
Yeah.
And even like, that. Even hearing her saying like, she's like, I just don't, and they're like, no, you got it. Like, you should just go. Like, don't let the enemy win or whatever. Not knowing what we all knew on the back. And so I'll just give a little bit of context. Like when I decided I wasn't going, I got very, very emotional about the fact that she was going to have to go without me. Mm-hmm. Like, very emotional. Like, that was probably the hardest I've cried since my dog died, since Volcom died. Oh, wow. So I was like, I was messed up. Like, and part of it, I think, was like, there was a lot of spiritual stuff going on, looking back on it. But I was just like really jacked up, mainly because I had like, and I even told her this, like at one point my mom left the room. I was like, just give us a minute. I told her, and I was like, I promised that I would show you the world. And I feel like I'm letting you down. Like that was like part of what I was wrestling with. I was like, I feel like you're not going to get to, I should be there with you. Like, it was almost like, never mind the missions trip. I promised my wife something and I can't give her, like, I've always, you guys know, like I treat my wife like she's a queen, right? So it's like, we were supposed to do this together and I feel like I'm letting you down. And like, there was this whole emotional thing, but it was like, it was so obvious to her in that moment. Like, yeah, but this is way bigger than that. This isn't just like, this is just a God thing, So by the time she got to John, she was all jacked up because she was like, why? Almost her thinking like, this has to be a spiritual thing, because that's not how my husband acts.
Right.
Yeah.
So she was kind of in that place. So by the time she got to John, she's telling John, and the other people, they don't get it. They don't understand what we're dealing with something else entirely. And so, by the time it was all said and done, Ash and John were like, we're not going either. So So we're all back. We're all here. And so we've been here the whole time. But lo and behold, and I don't celebrate the fact that people got sick, but like half the team got sick. Like very, very sick.
It was rough.
Yeah. Somebody's in the hospital in Peru. Like,
are you serious?
I'm very,
I didn't know.
Not from our church. No one from our church in the hospital, but it's a 30-person team or a 20-person team now. And one person out of the team like ended up in Peruvian hospital. Half the team didn't build houses for half the trip because they were sick. Apparently, I might be getting that a little skewed, but
looked like literally a couple houses up. But
so it was like,
jeez, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean, like, and knowing like my body's been acting crazy for the last year as far as like in and out of the hospital and stuff. Like, you know, I just think it was it was in hindsight, it was an absolute God thing. And the reason I shared that, it was like Holy Spirit, you know what I mean? Like
Holy Spirit,
listening to the Lord when he's speaking, you know, and it's like, but again, I just felt like I was like just being a little punk, honestly. Like, you know, like I just don't want to go.
You were being a Nate.
Yeah. What? And being a Nate. No, I was like, I felt like I was just being whatever. But in hindsight, like, see, it was the Lord. So, but Ashley posted and she made it sound like I was like about to be back in the hospital again. She didn't want to expose the spiritual nature of how things were going. So a lot of people thought it had a lot more to do with my sickness.
Gotcha.
And it had a lot more to do with the spiritual things and just God saying no for whatever reason to me being on that trip than it did a lot of the other stuff. And so people have been like checking in, like, how are you feeling? I'm like, I feel fine. Like I felt come Monday afternoon after that Sunday, I was 100%.
Gotcha.
It was something else entirely.
Who knows what could have happened?
Exactly.
Who knows?
So I traveled back from Guatemala sick, and I tell you that I don't want to do that ever again. But nonetheless, so that's what was happening for all you guys that are.
Maybe you would have been, if you'd have went, you'd end up getting kidnapped by the Peruvian mafia.
Listen, brother,
that probably wouldn't have happened
if they kidnapped me.
Is that a thing?
A, they worked way too hard, and B, they should be making a lot more money doing something else.
They're holding you hostage.
You can kidnap me. You know, you can't do that secretly.
Nah, there ain't no way.
Like
maybe for Nate.
Yeah, they pull up in a van, try to push me in. I'm pushing them back. You know what I mean?
They get Tommy. That'd be crazy.
Oh, they could definitely get Tommy.
Yeah,
throw Tommy like a paper airplane around.
Yeah, Tommy.
But anyways, so our team's coming back. Shout out to Josh Shemp, Tommy and Christy Bowie, Jazz
Katie,
Williams,
Katie.
Look at y'all.
Oh no, you my Caitlin and Rod.
Katie.
Caitlin and Rod didn't go.
Katie's like 19. She's a newer young adult to our church. That she
rock on. Great. Go for Katie.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Katie went.
I didn't.
So yeah.
Yep.
Now I need to know who Katie is. You gotta show me a picture of this person that I don't.
It's a good group.
But shout out to them. They did a great job representing TC well. We were getting updates from them on the regular, and definitely Linda and Greg English and Reimagine Peru. They do great work. We support them every month, building houses for families in Peru. They have a church in Peru. They have a food distribution center. All those things like on the ground all the time. They're one of our mission partners. So we shout out to them. I wish I could have made it, but didn't. And but we'll get there one day.
And
probably.
Speaking of mission trips, so next year we're gonna have another trip. I'm not gonna name it yet.
I don't care. I think we talked about it on air already?
I thought we've already talked.
Yeah, we talked about it on air. We talked about it a couple weeks
I'm
ago.
not talking about Israel.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Well, Rick was talking about.
Oh yeah, we haven't nailed that down
We
yet.
haven't nailed it down.
There's a possibility that we're going to Kenya.
Kenya.
So,
what?
I'm on that one. I'm going to that one.
Yeah.
I want to go to that one.
I'm going to digging water whales.
So yeah,
we'll
give you guys information as we get it.
What we would like to do is have several trips a year planned out, available for people to. That way, like if there's a cost, you can register. We're trying to kind of get a system in place where, like even in 2025, these are 3 trips available that you can start even saving your own money aside for, whatever.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll be giving y'all information on that.
So that's kind of what we're working towards, but so that would be cool. I'd like to. I know people that's gone on that Kenya trip with that group. It's Water for Nations, one of our partners.
I would love
and they say it's like an incredible trip. The cool thing about it is they're digging water wells, but you're there as a team. They dig the water wells because it's a truck with the thing in the hole. They dig like, so many 100 feet deep or whatever. And while they're on site that whole week, you're in the village They do it at a village. And they have like stuff for women, like women's ministry, kids ministry stuff, like all these different types of things. So you're like there the whole time. You're not actually, the team's not digging the water wells. The professionals do that. You're doing ministry in the village and stuff with the kids and the people. It's really cool. They say.
Well, yeah, I can see Nate showing
what I did in the DR.
His shovel. It's a sand pail. I'm helping dig the wells out here.
That's
just take pictures and digging wells.
Yeah, like he's sitting in the ground just digging water. We're gonna be here for a couple of years. The way Nate's digging right now. No, yeah. That was Nate. You were with the kids almost when we were.
That's literally what I did in the DR while they were building the playground. I
kept the kids off the playground that wasn't built yet.
Yeah.
Well, we saw that basketball goal you put together, so probably just like the people.
Yeah, Josh Shemp. We were in good shape.
Yeah,
literally. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. So.
No, that's cool. I mean, that's the fun. That's what you got to do that part too. You know.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. I mean, the kids are the impact, right? Like it's might be
the most important part.
Yeah,
ministry,
absolutely.
So.
It's. I do love missions. I just didn't want to go on this one, or God didn't want me on that. I don't know. I wasn't going.
Well, it wasn't like you never went to something else, you know.
Yeah, no, I've done. We did some work this year, so. But yeah.
Anyhow, so
thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Did we talk about anything?
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah,
about
we
messages.
talked messages and stuff.
Oh yeah, we did.
We didn't test no burgers or nothing this time.
Yeah.
Speaking of burgers, a salad done wore off.
Salad done wore off.
That salad for lunch I had done wore off. Hey, we ate at Dickie's yesterday.
Yeah, we had barbecue right down the road.
Oh,
they're open now.
It's old.
Wait, where's it at?
The old Louisiana lunchbox.
Really?
It's good.
Dickie's barbecue. Yeah.
Have you had it yet? Before the one on Davis? They got one on Davis.
No,
too.
I haven't been there yet.
It's good.
Is it?
I will absolutely
better than I
Smokies?
see. Yeah, Smokies. Yeah, I totally forgot about that place because it ain't nothing special.
No.
Different.
Oh my gosh. Nothing.
It was good.
You're not gonna say nothing better than Smokies.
The brisket was good.
Was it?
The brisket was.
The brisket was good.
No, it was good. I mean, it wasn't.
It was more expensive.
Yes, it was more expensive than Smokies. I like Smokies better, but
it was good. I'll totally eat there. They also have like
barbecue's like pizza, dude.
Yeah,
Even
they have baked potatoes. You can do meat like for $10. You get this gigantic baked potato with all the stuff in it.
Oh wow!
It's like for
that could be a meal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
it is.
We both got the 3 meat plate to try out the different stuff. So I got a ribs. I got ribs, chicken, and a brisket. Mac and cheese was good. The baked beans were good.
Wow.
Good sweet tea. It was good. Totally go again.
We'll have to go there.
We will.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Since
right
there's
here.
so few restaurants around us.
So,
I know, right?
So yeah, there's that. Shout out Dickie's.
Yep. All right. Well, we got stuff to do. Sounds like the building's coming.
I know.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The roof is about to rip off.
Yeah. It's been storming outside, everyone. Well, Justin, if they thought to themselves, I really need to know more about this here.
I know.
This church. What might you recommend?
What you ought to do is
what you ought to do.
Go to transformationchurch.com or on any of your social platforms at Transformation Pensacola, including YouTube and TikTok.
Ooh.
Boom.
Threads? On Threads?
We're on Threads.
We're on Threads.
We're on Threads.
Right?
Yeah.
I saw you get some Threads. I
like Threads. I like Threads.
Yeah. Anyways, y'all share, like, subscribe, and be easy out there.
We'll catch y'all next week for another sermon, another message recap podcast.
Later.